So you clicked on this video because for whatever reason, you're just not really happy and you feel stuck. Things are like not working out. I want you to know first and foremost that I have had so many moments where I myself have been in a position where I think, man, I'm doing a lot of progressive things that should be working and leading me towards the end goal of being happier. And you would think in making progress towards that end goal that you would be happier and happier and happier, and it kind of builds up. If you're resonating with what I'm saying and you find yourself in a position where you're just like really unhappy and you're not sure why, even though you have to sit and think to yourself like, man, I've tried a lot of things and nothing seems to be working. Well, I want you to know that that's absolutely, I think, a very normal thing for a lot of people to go through, but not a lot of people talk about it. And I think part of the reason that is because it's not fun to talk about, to some degree. Speaking about it puts a stamp of reality on it, kind of like shows us that we're not failing, but it feels like we're failing, And the ironic part of that statement is that that's the whole point of life, like you continuously fail, things don't work out. Typically, if you're open-minded and you're constructive, they point you towards the right direction. Sometimes you don't find the right direction until you fall on your face a few times. And I want you guys to know that is totally okay. When you're focusing purely on like the grind and your everyday routines and your habits, it can be really easy to push stuff aside and feel like you're happy when deep down inside, something's off. I know that in itself is really scary because I think a lot of us have our identities tied to the things that we are constantly taking part in. And when some of those things or all of those things are not going according to plan, it can scare the heck out of you. I hope that you will take a moment to listen to some of the things that I have to say here moving forward. And it's just really simple stuff. If you are genuinely feeling like things are just not working, I have a simple approach to that, and I think it would do you guys some justice. And if you made it this far in the video, you're committed. And I love you guys for that. If things are not working, I encourage you to stop and take a piece of paper out and try to identify the areas of friction in your life. Plain and simple. We can really get into a routine where, again, we push things aside and we don't really identify what is bothering us because we're just focusing on the grind. But if you do that enough, eventually you get to a point where things boil over and you're a mess and all of a sudden you're in panic and you feel like you don't know what you're doing in your life, where are you going, you're feeling very helpless, you're feeling lost. I think working on this helps us avoid that. Or if you're currently going through it, it helps you get out of the lost feeling. Like you guys want a roadmap to success or a roadmap to happiness. The roadmap is in your heart. I know that sounds so cliche, but it really is. So if you take a look at your life right now and you sit and think, okay, what things are going really, really well? And you should write that on a piece of paper. Be really honest with yourself. What things are bringing friction to your life right now? Is it people? Is it an environment? Is it your internal circumstances? Is it you? Is it your mindset? The reason I'm keeping it broad is because when I practice this technique myself, my answers are going to be wildly different than your answers. And so I know for me recently, protecting my peace has been a really, really big thing. Listing the things that I know are going really well and listing the things that are just not working in my life. And then asking myself, are these things worth keeping? Do I need to reduce my exposure to some of these things? Do I need to increase my exposure to some of these other things? And I am making these little adjustments. And then I'm looking back a week or two later and reflecting, did the changes that I make work? Are these things paying off? How do I feel? Another powerful one for me has been how I talk to myself and how do I think about myself? Like, what are the thoughts that I have about me? And not just stopping with that, but also thinking, how do I speak about other things, other people, other circumstances? How do I think about those things as well? There's a lot of power all of us have in changing how we speak about ourselves, how we think about ourselves, and how we do the same with other things and other people. And you'll get a lot of insight when you think about your recent thought patterns. How do I think about myself and my circumstances? How am I reacting to those things? If you sit and really look at those two things, you will also get some more insight based off of the answers that come from you asking those questions. And it's so important to sit and be really honest with yourself because we have to figure out like what's not going right. I think a lot of us are looking for answers. You may be looking for me to tell you exactly what you need to do to a T to get out of this situation. And I wish I really do wish that I had an answer for you, but your life is very different than my life. And the best way I can encourage you to find your roadmap to fixing things is to encourage you to sit and think about these things, you guys. Take a look at what's going on. Be really honest. Don't let little things go unnoticed, and don't let big things go unnoticed. That's been really big for me recently. When I'm looking at fixing a lot of the things that are just not going well in my life right now, even if I've been putting a lot of intentional work to make those things work, if they're not working, they're not working, you know? And as frustrating as that can be, to have that moment of self-reflection and recognizing like, shit, I'm still struggling. And I know it sucks when you've gone through that. Maybe some of you have gone through that for like years and you're just like ready for some change. And I feel you. I feel you guys. And I want you to get better. I really do. The whole basis of this video is to show you guys that like you have the answers, but you gotta sit and you gotta take time to be with yourself. You know, like nobody can tell you what the right thing to do is. I cannot tell you guys what the right thing to do is, but I can encourage you to sit and figure out what the right thing to do is, because you'll know if you're being honest with yourself. I wanted us to work through this together. And I hope at the end of this that you guys like get excited to sit and recognize that you have all the power in the world to change the direction of your life. If things are really not going well, you can figure it out. You guys don't need me to tell you that. I'm here to help you if you want. I will guide you down some level of a path, but I cannot do the walking for you and nobody else will. That's actually a very good thing. If you don't do the footwork yourself, you will never learn long-term things that are going to actively and progressively stick with you for the rest of your life. Because when we find these moments of friction or these moments where things just aren't working, that is like our soul speaking to us. And it's up to us to listen to it, you know, and you can call it whatever you want. Your soul, your heart, you know, you can call it your like inner self, whatever, you know, define it yourself. But it's like your mind and body is speaking to you and they're telling you like, hey, something's not going right, you know? And if you're wildly unhappy, plenty of not fun things happen when you're not happy. You know, you don't feel as good. Physically, sometimes we feel it. Emotionally, we feel it. Like, listen to yourselves, you guys, and get involved. Be courageous. You guys can figure these things out. And sometimes you just have to ask the right question to get the right answer. All of us have plenty of things we can work towards improving. And it's okay if you're in a place where things are not going incredibly well. If you take the right steps and you are proactive, you can improve things. And I hope that you guys don't lose sight of that. I look forward to talking to you guys next week. Thank you for giving me some of your time today. If you have any recommendations or things that you'd like for me to talk to you guys about, or if you'd like for me to shed any light on things in my life with you guys, you just let me know. I'll look forward to seeing you guys next week again. Thank you for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take care.